Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and thank you for waiting patiently. Um, we are waiting for Dr. Solomon to take the lead, but don't mind me, I'm flying my color like a. Okay, we're waiting for Dr. Solomon to take the lead, but while we're waiting for him, I want to give us a short presentation from my angle. My name is Rotimi Ojamamoye, the Group Managing Director of Assetrise Limited. And it's a pleasure to have this evening with you again. Why do we keep having these webinars? Why do we keep coming on your face to talk about this oil palm plantation and the rest? Number one, to us, clarity is more important than cash flow. As an organization, we value clarity first before your cash. And that's why it is better for us to be on the same page of understanding of you knowing the industry that you're going into and not just investing from an ignorance part of view. I mean, it is good that you want to invest in oil palm plantation and the whole industry has enormous potentials. That's like we've spoken about. However, you need to understand some basics. How is this industry? How long has it been? How profitable will it really be for me? What do I own? What do I not own? I mean, basic questions that you need to understand, because the truth is this: any business that you're putting your resources into, the first thing that should come to you is to understand the clarity of that business. Number two is to understand the risk potential of that business. What do I stand to lose if anything goes wrong? And the very thing about risk is this: if your risk appetite is not enough, please do not invest in some certain opportunities. I mean, every business has the potential of risk, including this very industry. So we're going to be sharing with you what are the risk elements in this industry that you should look at for. And number three, what are the reasons why this has become the very thing that everybody wants to come into. So Dr. Solomon is going to be joining us and speaking from a research, an Institute of Research part of view, has the director of research and economics from NIFOR. Why? Whatever I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be telling you from the perspective of Assetrise, what we have done across all the phases that we have done so far. But we have been able to see transitioning or scaling or becoming 100,000 hectares plantation organization, competing with the big boys like Okumu and Presco. It's not just a game of opening more plantations. It is us understanding clearly how we want to position this to you in clarity. Our understanding must be same. It's not our document versus your misunderstanding, or our document versus what you don't think. There must be clear understanding from us participating. I mean, I go to church today. I was in church today. I mean, the scripture will say in Amos 1 verse 1, it says, can two work together except they agree? So agreement is only enforced by clarity. Not, I have given you my money, go and produce whatever it takes. And that's where a lot of scam happens. So tonight, Dr. Solomon will be putting a lot of clarity to what the industry is from the perspective of an external person. That is why it's not me that will be talking about the industry. He's going to be creating a lot of person in this field. But before he comes on board, let me share with you from what we have done so far and the reality that we currently have. We have Palm Ridge Phase 5 already fruiting. We're harvesting, we're processing oil. As we speak, Ibadan is filled with a lot of fruits in our Lagelu oil palm plantation. Ekpe is currently being harvested. We are producing palm oil. And then we are rolling out towards 2027 for production in Ado water. And also, like you can witness, or you will be witnessing this year, we're going to be doing a massive allocation across Ewekoro and Adodo also. Ewekoro, we launched last year, phase 8, and then the farm. And it has been a lot of interest from a lot of us who have came into this project. However, we also know that a lot of persons have questions, what am I looking to do, must be communicated in clear terms to you. And that is the angle I was going to be speaking from. But we want Dr. Solomon to establish the clarity about the industry before I can now jump on your face and talk about how all this can come to play. So I'm going to be pausing now again, and then we'll bring Dr. Solomon back to the screen, and I will be coming back to you to speak to you as your own. I mean, we have been in this together. It's been a very good journey. Any challenge you have, any question you have, please feel free to ask us. Like I said, cash flow is not our aim. Clarity comes first, then the cash flow will be endless. When there is no clarity, there will be chaos. And we are very, very much ready to establish clarity to your perspective on the project so you can be rightly positioned to scale your plantation, to scale your income from the already very attractive oil palm industry in Nigeria. Thank you so much as I switch to Dr. Solomon. Thank you. Media, please, you can.
All right. Thank you very much. Welcome, sir.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, this is Dr. Solomon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Dr. Solomon. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm just trying to see how I can share my document. That's what has been holding me. Let me share the document. Just give me some few minutes. I'll work on that, please.
Okay. Okay, so while we're waiting for Doctor to share his document, let me take on with us. We know this webinar is time bound, and we respect your time. We know you're supposed to be resting, and we have brought you to the learning. Well, it's good. It's good for you to learn so you can rest, so that you don't invest wrongly, and then the time you're supposed to be resting, you'll be palpitating. And so it's much more interesting how this is becoming for us. But let's flip a little of the Nigerian story to investment. People invest in like Gbogbolushe. I mean, there's a drug in Yoruba. Should I say a drug or a medicine in Yoruba that they call Gbogbolushe? It can cure everything. You see them advertising it in buses, in Molue, those days when Molue is still the thing. I mean, you see these people on the streets, they will hold just one drug or just one thing that has been mixed together, and they will tell you that it will cure cancer, it will cure hypertension, it will cure diabetes, it will cure everything. And they will be very, very convincing, and a lot of people will buy. They buy it a lot, and I mean, you use Gbogbolushe. And I want to see investing in Nigeria and Africa to a lot of persons as a description of people applying Gbogbolushe to cure all ailments. Something just come up on your face, it is enticing, it is, plenty English, and then without knowledge, you just rush into it. And so what effect does Gbogbolushe have on people? You take something that you think will cure headache, cure Panadol, cure everything, and it does not work. And at the end of it, you're disappointed. And that is the angle we don't want you to work from. Investment should be done with precision. That's why when you are sick, you go to the hospital, you do a checkup, and then you are told exactly what is wrong with you. That's precision. If your blood is low, they tell you, you need to increase your PCV, blah, blah, blah. And exactly you know what to aim for. If you use Gbogbolushe without data, I mean, you are not guided with data, you're not guided with precision, you just find out that's why a lot of people die carelessly in Africa, because they are sick, they want to use Agbo, they take Agbo to cure anything, and there's no prescription, there is no precision, there is no data to whatever they are doing. I want us to also not bring that same mentality to investment. Investment must be data-driven. Understand what you are investing in. What do I own in the first place? If I'm coming aboard the Palm Ridge project, that's the first question they should be asking. What do I own? What does this whole project entails? Someone asked a question a few minutes ago, say, can I invest in the milling? Can I invest in seedlings? Can I invest in other area? I mean, is it open for me? So you should have an informed perspective to whatever investment you're doing. And one of the questions I'm asking you is, when you come aboard the Palm Ridge project, what do you own? Number one, you are owning land, which is real estate. And that is why we have designed this project to be an agro-real estate model. You are owning land. Absolutely, the land belongs to you. It will be allocated to you. And then number two, on the land that you own, we will be planting the cash crop, which is palm tree, on the land for you. And then the details of planting this cash crop is where all our dealings with the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research come in, is where all our dealings with, what will be the economic benefit of me even having cash crop on my land rather than even just leaving the land fallow. All these details. But the number two question now is, we are going to be setting up or planting palm trees on your land. So number one, you own the land. Number two, we are planting this cash crop on the land. Now you want to ask, what are the details about this cash crop that we are planting? It is simple and clear. This cash crop that we are planting, especially the palm tree that we have been doing, it is almost very, very agile, and the risk potential is very less compared to other cash crops, compared to cocoa, compared to other cash crops that we have seen and that we know about, because the palm tree is an agile crop. It can stay for over 70 years and still be productive. Now, number two, why am I speaking to the risk part of it? Because for normal agric, you would think that, when I plant, I will need to plant every year. When I plant, what if? So the palm tree itself, which is the major thing that we are going to be putting on your land, a lot of clarity must be established on it. So let me wrap up my section by saying, the first thing you owe on this project is the land. Don't forget, normal land banking is as profitable as anything. Your land keep appreciating. The land that you bought for 200,000 or for 500,000 today, in 5 years' time becomes 2 million, becomes 3 million. And while the land is appreciating, the cash crop on it then start fruiting and then start giving you economic yield. But we have the experts in the house today to deal with the cash crop that is coming on your land. And then when it runs up, I'm going to be coming back to continue my series on the specific questions, the specific details that you need to understand about this very project. Now, let me also say this. The Palm Ridge project is not an investment scheme. We do not have SEC license to run this as an investment scheme. We are not a SEC licensed organization to run an investment scheme. So please get this clearly. It is not a debt model. It is a real estate model. You own land, cash crop is established on it. The cash crop belongs to you. You can decide to manage your cash crop by yourself, and you can decide to sign a farm management agreement with Assetrise, and they will manage it on your behalf. Please do not misunderstand this project. We do not in any way run it as an investment scheme, because we do not have the license to either do crowdfunding for this project as an investment. Thank you. Let's switch to Dr. Solomon as he takes us on this presentation. Dr. Solomon, you're welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I seem to be having a lot of problem with sharing the document I have, but I've just sent it to Victor. I hope he can share it so that I can follow it up while it's on the screen.
Yes, it's on the screen, so you can go on, sir.
Oh, I can't see it. That's why. Okay. I can't see what is shared.
I will advise that you just go ahead with your laptop. He will listen to you and then follow the one that you shared with him, sir.
Okay, my presentation. Is everybody with me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Every other person is muted. We can hear you.
All right. My presentation is on understanding the financial opportunities in structured oil palm plantation. So, as a form of introduction, I will want to let everybody know that agriculture as it is today. Just 1 minute. Just a minute. Okay. So, just a minute. Are we together? Hello.
Well,
hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, sir,
just
we
go
can
ahead,
hear you,
sir.
sir.
Just flow.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay.
Just go ahead and flow. We
You
are
see,
with you.
agriculture as it is today has evolved into a strategic investment asset. All right. Unlike what we do before, when people just do planting for the purpose of just planting and getting something out of it. It's a very serious kind of investment as of today. Okay. So I'm not really very comfortable with this presentation. So it's just a minute.
Dr. Solomon, can they
I'm
just
with you.
flow? We know you are.
Huh?
We know you are an encyclopedia of the oil palm industry. Just
I
flow. We will
know.
catch you up, sir.
So, like I was saying, are we together? So there was a time Nigeria was a leading exporter of palm oil in the whole world. And then as of today, there's a very serious consumption gap. What I mean is that what we produce is far less than what we require. Our production level as of today is about 1.3 million metric tons, and the country requires about 2 to 3 million metric tons for its consumption annually. Oh, wow, just a minute. So this presentation, as I said actually before, is actually focused on how structured plantation can actually unlock financial opportunities, particularly within the context of agricultural asset ownership models. All right. What I'm actually talking about here is that we need to get out of what we do before all this idea of people going into small holdings and all that. Like that, we cannot actually really develop. But we need to start thinking on how to have serious investment into oil palm cultivation where we have large holdings. Okay. So, but for the purpose of this webinar, I will just look at agricultural asset ownership. And in this context, it refers to holding tangible and income-generating agricultural resource, such as farmland, and then what you have on it, which are tree crops, processing infrastructure, and then we talk about value chain investment. Unlike annual crops, tree crops is not like that. It's a long-term kind of investment. And hello? Oh my gosh.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Like I said, we are talking about structured oil palm plantation. A structured oil plantation is systematically planned and manage oil palm investment. And it's usually characterized by a number of things. One, defined land with proper and legal documentation. The use of very improved material, implanting materials. And then we should be talking about best agronomic practices or best farming practices. There should be organized financing model for this purpose. And then there's the issue of revenue sharing or ownership structure. Okay. I'm sorry, my system is somehow. So when you talk about this structure oil palm plantation, we are talking about structural systems. And when we talk about structural systems, it improves bankability. When I say bankability, we are talking about access to funds using bankability, because once you have all this structured plantation in place, these are the things you look at too. Then it helps with access to credit. Credit, if you get it proper, if it is done properly, it gives a lot of opportunity for you to have access to credit. And then again, eligibility to government interventions. So example of this structured oil palm plantations could be things like estate plantation. We have outgrower scheme, we have cooperative owned plantations. And then just like you sell the PPP arrangement that is being operated by you guys, you know. Please, you have to bear with me because I seem to be having small problems with my system.
We're enjoying the class, Dr.
Okay.
Solomon. We are flowing.
Okay.
We're enjoying it.
So why is oil palm a strategic investment asset? First of all, the point is that there is potential for high yield. When I say high yield, I'm talking about yield from your investment in terms of the products from the palm. We're talking about fresh fruit bunches. And as of today, oil palm is not generally is the highest oil yielding crops per hectare per year, locally, globally. Okay, it produces between 3 to 5 tons of oil, palm oil per hectare annually. But this should be under good management systems. Which again, it has long economic life with a productive lifespan of about 25. When I say productive, it's not that the yield will no longer be there, but when you talk about productive life, we are talking about maximum production year. And that is usually between 25 and 30 years of serious investment. Then again, within between 8 and 25 years, it remains at the peak yield. Okay, when we tell you that if you plant improved planting materials, you can get between 25 and 30 tons of fresh fruit bunches per hectare per year, which when processed properly can give you up to 3 to 5 tons of palm oil. You know, this is what we are talking about. As of today, a ton of palm oil is about 2 million naira. So you can imagine in a situation where you have about 5 tons, or let's say 4 tons of palm oil, we are talking about 8 million naira annually from 1 hectare. That is from 1 hectare. Okay. And the most important thing is that it provides some level of constant income from your investment. Okay. Provides stable long-term cash flow. Okay. So these are very important things you need to note. Apart from that, there's a strong domestic demand for palm oil in Nigeria. Like I explained, that our requirements, we need up to almost about 3 metric tons. But our production as of today is about 1.3 million tons, and which gives room for a lot of importation. And that is not something that is good. We have the potentials. The economic indices are all in this country. So if we do what we need to do and we do it right, the sky can actually be the limit. And apart from that, again, it provides some kind of multiple revenue streams. From processing palm fruits, investors can derive one, palm oil, which is the crude palm oil. You have the palm kernel, you have the palm kernel oil, you have the palm kernel cake, and then you have a lot of byproducts. All right. And then apart from this, you have the issue of value-added products from all these products we are talking about. But for example, from palm oil, you can process palm oil. You can process palm oil into stearin and olein. This are because any palm oil you see, they are always having 2 layers. The upper liquid area is called the palm olein, while the lower one is called the palm stearin. The palm olein area, in most cases these days, are, the first thing is that the color is removed, and then they are converted into vegetable oil. The palm stearin can be used for various things in the confectionery industry, can be used in the various cosmetic industry. Okay. So apart from this, again, like I said, there's this issue that has to do with sustainable opportunities. All right. We are talking about carbon credits. We are talking about climate smart agriculture. We are talking about, we are talking about if this is being done properly, there are a lot of opportunities for climate smart agricultural funding. If you are involved in heavy, the agroforestry system, and then again, ensuring that you have the sustainable certification of RSPO. These are basic things we really need to know, we really need to do, and we really need to achieve in what we are doing as at today. Okay. Just a minute again, my system seems to be hanging. Okay. So what are the financial opportunities in structured oil palm plantations? Okay. There is this capital appreciation of land and trees. You keep land, the values of land keep increasing over time. The trees you have on it, based on production, and it's a serious biological capital asset. Then plantation, with maturity, as the palm mature, production increases. And as a result, you have assets and valuation increasing over a period of time. Apart from that, there is what we call recurring income streams. Okay. Once the palms are mature, the palm gets mature between 3 to 4 years, you go through continuous harvesting. During the peak period, you harvest with them in every 10 days. And during the lean period, you go in once in a month. But the most important thing is that you have a steady monthly and quarterly income cycles. And then you can have this predictable kind of cash flow. This is very important for any investor because you're going into any investment. These are the things you look out for in terms of returns on your investments. So the oil palm, going into oil palm business is something you can never regret. Okay, you can never regret. Apart from this, what I've just mentioned, there is again opportunity in agro-industrial linkages because structured plantations integrate into the system, processing mills. Then you have the opportunity for refining industries. These are things you can, and then this creates value. There's a value chain income and income diversification with all these processes that I've just mentioned. So, and when we talk about structured investments, so structured for investors, okay? And for example, we have structured plantation enable multiple entry points. First of all, there's direct ownership model. Investors in this particular sense own the land, just as was explained by the GMD before. The land is owned by you. You have full control. Whatever risk and you have a very high return on your investment. Then another very important model is the managed plantation management schemes. It is good when you have professionals to manage your plantation for you. Okay? And investors can earn. Hello? I hope we are all together.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Yes,
Doctor, we are
okay.
with you. We are flowing.
Okay. I talked about the direct ownership model. I'm talking about plantation management schemes. And it's always better for you to have professionals managing your farm for you. Investors earn a lot of returns without, getting involved in these operational burdens. And then we have the outgrower scheme. The outgrower scheme is like for example, in Edo State and in so many climes, when you are going into large scale production, you deliberately dedicate a percentage to smallholder holdings. Okay, the idea is that you work within a community, you have to carry the community along, okay, and it's part of the way of getting community engagement. Okay, but the most important is that there's a guaranteed market and there's technical support by NIFOR and basically by NIFOR in terms of oil palm production. Then again, we have cooperative investment models. This one is like pooling resources to acquire plantation assets and then share risk and then improve the bargaining power. Okay, so now I will talk about cost structure and investment timeline. We have 3 major phases. The first one is the establishment phase. The cost implications for this one has to do with land acquisition, has to do with land preparation, then seedlings acquisition. The acquisition of planting material is the most important aspect when you talk about establishment, because it's what you put on ground that will determine what to get at the end of the day. NIFORs today have 3 major varieties. We always tell people, I will always tell all investors that if you want to go into oil palm plantation, the only authentic source of these improved materials in Nigeria It's the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research. However, there are big estates who have partners or investment partners outside the country who are equally producing very good seeds that are imported in the country to the country. Those materials are good too. All right. But the major thing I want to talk about is that you are going into oil palm cultivation. You should ensure that what you put on ground is genuine, and because there's a lot of adulteration out there. If you go on the internet, you see all sorts of things, all sorts of people claiming to be able to do what they can never do. One thing I want to tell you is that for you to produce one improved material of the oil palm, it needs a minimum of 25 years. You need to go through serious research for about 25 years. That is why, as of today, government is the only one sponsoring that. However, like I told you, there are some very good imported material. However, there are implications for that, but I won't like to talk about that here. But I want you to know that as far as Nigeria is concerned, you are looking for improved materials. The only authentic source is NIFOR. But Okomu, Presco, and all those big estates have the capacity to import good materials too. Okay? So those materials are equally good. But I will just stop at that. And then another aspect of investment at this establishment phase is the planting itself and the maintenance of those planting material after establishment. And again, another very important investment element is labor and other inputs. When I say other inputs, I'm talking about things like fertilizers. I'm talking like things like other inputs like pest and pesticides and weed control, the herbicides. Okay, but at this particular stage, it should be noted that there is no investment, there is no revenue at all, because these first 3 to 4 years, you keep investing. But the second phase is the maturity phase. At this particular phase, I'm talking about after about 4 years, 4 to 5 years, you start getting returns. It starts flowering. Gradually, you start getting returns. And by the time you get to the 8th year, you should have been able to, most of your investment, you should have been able to recover that based after about 8 years. Okay. And that's, again, like I said, will depend on one, the planting material you are putting on ground, and secondly, the management procedure that you put on ground. Because if you don't do best management practices, there's every likelihood that you may not get the best out of it. But I won't go into the details of that. I'm just scratching everything on the surface. Then, like I said, you need good management, very, very good management. And if you do that, between 8 to 10 years, you should be able to break even. And then profitability improves with processing. When I say processing, I mean using the right processing equipment and doing the right thing, and following the right procedure. So what are the risk factors? Okay, so we have some major risk factors, and then you have price volatility. You have disputes. It's a common thing in Nigeria when you have dispute with the community in terms of managing, in terms of ownership of land. Okay, then we have this issue of climate change, climate variability. However, I give some level of mitigation strategies. For the long gestation period, all you need to do is that use genuine and improved materials. For the issue of price volatility, we talk about diversification within the value chain, because once you get involved, you get yourself involved in recovering your, economic activities in relation to value addition. There's a lot of, you can defray most of these things that when we talk about price volatility. There are poor management practices. Like I said, you need professional farm managers. That's a major problem in oil palm cultivation. And I'm happy that Assetrise Limited is there to provide that as of today. Then the issue of land tenure dispute, I suggested that we should make sure that when we secure our land, we settle with the community and make sure that we do proper land documentation. Well, in terms of climate variability, we talk about best management, climate smart practices, and then insurance scheme. I don't know. That is an area that we now, everybody's actually looking into. Okay. So the next thing is the role of structure in unlocking financial value. A structured approach transforms oil palm from a farming activity to a financial asset class. Okay? And the key elements in ensuring this is that there must be transparency. Activities, within the farm. Then again, you should have a financial modeling and a reporting system that is foolproof. Then there's the issue of investor-friendly frameworks. So just to summarize, what I'm just presenting is just a summary of what we need to look into. But in conclusion, okay, structured oil palm plantation presents a unique intersection of agriculture and finance, offering one, long-term asset growth, stable income streams, value chain integration, and national economic impact, providing jobs, providing wealth, and taking a lot of people off the streets. So for my recommendation for investors, policymakers, researchers, the focus should shift towards building structured, scalable, and investable oil palm systems that is being projected by Assetrise. I will tell that what these people are doing, what Assetrise is doing, is a model that I believe will work. If we continue, if we follow what they are doing, I'm sure that in no time we will meet up with other clients in the oil palm subsector. Recently, last year, there was a validation of, because the country is thinking on how to increase oil palm production in Nigeria. There was there's a document for oil palm development in Nigeria. And last week, some few days ago, there was a validation meeting in Abuja where this was discussed seriously. It's all over the papers. And I'm sure that what Assetrise is doing is in the right direction in meeting the objectives of the federal government of Nigeria. So, General, I think that is where I will stop for now. I don't want to talk too much. I didn't want to go into figures deliberately because for quite a number of reasons. Because what happens, what is obtainable in one place, it may not be obtainable in the other place. But there's a general kind of presentation in terms of economic indices. However, for the purpose of this presentation, I decided to hold back on that. But maybe subsequently we could go into things like that. So meanwhile, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you very much. Hello, are we together?
Doctor, thank you
Yes, sir.
so much.
Thank
That
you
was
very
very
much, sir.
clear.
Whatever questions you have, I'm on ground to answer, please.
Okay, Chidera, let me take up from Doctor so that we can move with time. It's almost to 8, and I know a lot of us have been patient waiting to hear from Dr. Solomon. And just like you heard from him, that was clear, that was very simple. That was a presentation from a professional, not just a professional. You can see the lecture coming like you are seated in a classroom. And I mean, not a scattered presentation, very structural presentation. Thank you so much, Doctor. So while we put up our questions, we're going to be taking them one after the other. Let me call out to everyone on the platform tonight. See, we emphasize knowledge. We emphasize knowledge, we emphasize structure, we emphasize productivity and scale, we emphasize legal backing and legal structuring to how we should scale this plantation business. Number one, so that, like you said, there is transparency. There will never be a scale where there is ambiguity. there will never be a scale where there is confusion. So it is better we don't even do it at all. If we are confused, go back to the drawing board and understand what is this all about? What do I own? How do I own it? And how do I scale it in the future into a bigger scale to create, revenue? The opportunity is enormous. The opportunity is big. And what we just need to keep doing is understanding from experts what we need to do right. And that's why we have taken a very proactive approach to partner with the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research and with noble personalities like Dr. Solomon, who are also going to be an eye over our plantation to ensure that we are doing the right thing. Because if we don't do the right thing, then we don't expect the right results. And in doing the right thing, we beyond knowledge, beyond the presentation on the English, we're going to be seeing live on site this week, coming to our Ewekuru plantation and seeing how things are being done accordingly. Because if we do it right, we will see the right results. I will pause in there while I'll come back to us on our closing remarks around what is expected of us and what the Assetrise model is. In emphasis, we want clarity. And I'm going to come back into that after taking our questions. So please, if you have your questions, kindly signify, and we will take your questions as we begin to wind down the night. It's been a lot more that Doctor has shared with us. Okay, so we have a lot of questions on the dashboard. A lot of questions say, can we have more explanation in regards to community documentation, please, since we own the land? Okay, I think that's directly to Assetrise, not to Dr. Solomon. Everything that pertains to real estate on these questions, we will be taking that. So I'm running through the questions, and then the one that pertains to Dr. Solomon answer before we release them from. For the managed option, does the investor still own the land fully? This model is strictly an ownership model because Nigeria as a country has regulations to how investments are being done. That's why you have the Security and Exchange Commission, and that's why you have CBN, with banking. That's why you have the NSE, the Nigeria Stock Exchange. You have a lot of layers to investment. And what we are saying is, for what Assetrise is doing with palm plantation, it is strictly ownership of land, and then we plant trees on it. It is not in any way a debt model. So for the managed option, even though if we are managing it, you still own it. The land belongs to you 100%. Thanks for the presentation. Some of the farmlands have freehold title. Are there plans for C of O title, and what is the timeline for this? Could you please share further insights on the risk mitigation in this area? Land is always complicated in this part of the world, but definitely we are also careful the kind of land that we bring to you. And that's why we have gone into major partnerships, especially with state representatives in every state that we are, especially in our Ogun State projection. You were live at the area. You saw the Ogun State Agricultural Development Corporation, the chairman speaking to us about how he has helped us to facilitate some of the lands that we're currently having our plantations on to avoid, title issues, especially with government. The biggest title issue you're going to have is when you set your plantation in a place that government has designated for a particular use. So we avoid all this kind of crisis. Number two, community. Once we're able to have a good relationship with the community and determine ownership routes, then the relationship grows into a better one into the future. So you don't have land crisis and people having adverse claim. And our legal formation also support us to make sure that across all the plantations that we have done right now, we can boldly say to you that we don't have any contention that is out of hand. Family issues will come, but they are mitigated and they are solved, and then we move on with our plantation. I'm rushing through these questions so that I can get to the ones that concerns to Dr. Solomon, and also so I don't skip the ones that you want to hear. Can we have more explanation in regards to the community documentation, please? Yes, you've spoken to that. If you have more questions on the community documentation, we're going to come back to that, or you can call us up or speak to us through your consultant who is on this program. Please, we need to know the documents that are on each phase of Assetrise Limited land and their importance in keeping the mind of investors at peace in relation to the land security. Yes, across all the phases, there is no phase that is advertised without the title that is on it. There are phases that have C of O. There are phases that O. For example, we launched phase 9 this C of O. That is the phase 9 that's currently selling. And then we launched phase 3 recently, and we are telling you it does not have C of O. It's a registered survey, it's a freehold, but it's free from government acquisition. So every phase that we are launching, we declare to you 100% what the land title is. And please do yourself a great favor. Take that document, request for the coordinate, go and do your search by yourself. Like I said, do not invest with a Gbogbo Lushe mindset. Do yourself a favor, go and do your search. You can walk up to any of the Ministry of Lands to confirm the title to the land before you drop your dime. Like we said, we value clarity over cash flow. We are not interested in cash flow that will become crisis. Do your search. Once you are at peace with the title, then you can buy and start your journey. Can we have Dr. Solomon contact? He is well appreciated. Yes, you are going to pay for that. If you send me $10 million now, I'll send you Dr. Solomon's contact. However, he's with us, he's a consultant, and then you're going to see more of him. But we also value structured relationship. We cannot just throw out his number. We're going to make sure that everything that we need to do with him is structured, and then we'll get back to you if you need every details about Dr. Solomon. But however, we're going to see more of his face in the Assetrise project. We are holding him, or he's holding us by the hand to make sure that we do the right thing, same as we are in the NIFOR partnership, and then we appreciate the entire NIFOR family for holding Assetrise by the hand to make sure that we get things done right. Nigeria does not need to have repetition of failed schemes, failed agricultural projects. And the only way not to have failed schemes is to involve experts. Experts who understand what it means to scale in volumes. How can one increase his investment in Assetrise? Clearly, what you have will be discussed. What structure do you have in place? Is it the oil palm plantation? Is it normal land banking? If it's oil palm plantation, you can increase by owning an SPV, and I will speak to that explicitly, just like Dr. Solomon has also presented. When you own an SPV, you can come together with a group of people and decide to say, okay, we want to own 1,000 hectares, we want to own 100 hectares, we want to own 50 hectares. We want to own it to our own name. The name of our farm is Shenijeje Muti Nigeria Limited. We want to own this farm to ourselves, and then we will set up the plantation for you. And you can also say, okay, I just want to own 1 acre, I just want to own 1 hectare because I want to do land banking. But if you want to scale, just like Dr. have explained, if you want to scale in a structured environment, then you can do 50, 100, 1,000 hectares, and it's going to be structured. The ownership will be structured, the plantation reporting and transparency model, everything will be communicated clearly to you from the beginning. And that is what scaling is all about. So you don't scale your investment without understanding the structure that will help you to scale it. So what we are doing better in Assetrise is that we'll present to you the structure. If you are coming on the fractional ownership, you're owning 1 hectare, 1 acre, what you are doing is just land banking. You are not actually scaling your palm plantation. But if you want to scale your palm plantation, you want to own 100 hectares, 500 hectares, in any volume that you want to do, then we will develop an SPV model for you. It's a special purpose vehicle that allows you to scale your volume, and you still own the entire value chain. My prospect asked a question today, which I would love to ask here. He said, in case Assetrise fail to deliver their part in case of unforeseen circumstances, what would be his fate? Thank you so much. Like I spoke earlier about, every business have their potential of risk. And let me say this again. I am a trained investment analyst. I'm an investment and risk analyst with Harvard University. I understand what it means to take up any investment globally. And the first insight I do to any investment is to understand the risk potential. So for us in Assetrise, we have also specified on our forms and our flyers. You see those disclaimers, they are not coloring. They are clear terms that we have spoken about. Number one, we do not weather. But two, we do not, force majeure and some other things. We do not control a lot of things. And we have spoken about the things that we can't control. What can we control? Number one, the best agronomic practices. And that's why we're bringing experts on board to help us make sure that we do the best agronomic practice. Number two, we can avoid issues of land crisis, land ownership. And that's why we make sure that we do our due diligence before we bring you on board to buy another. If what still happen, what happens to you? there are two exit strategies. Every investment you are going into, just like you asked now, one of the most important questions that you need to ask is, what is my exit strategy? How can I get out if I want to get out? Number one, you can get out by either selling your land to anybody. I mean, if you have a plantation that's already fruiting, you can sell it. And then you are selling the land that have appreciated plus the plantation on it. Number two, you can say, oh, Assetrise, you know what? Everything that has been construed here, I don't see it working. It has failed. And I mean, give me my money back. And then if we look at everything that you have presented and we have failed, especially if the land was recovered back by anybody. Or number two, especially the land was recovered back, just like your question is saying, and circumstances beyond our control happens, especially from the land angle, then we will refund you your money. But from the agric part, we have declared to you from the beginning. One, the agric is not a debt model. So from the year 3 to year 30, we will declare according to what comes out from your farm that you have outsourced to us to manage, not according to a debt instrument. And how do I mean? Look at 3 years back, palm oil price was lower than what it is now. At 2021, 2024, 2021, 2023, I can remember it's beyond, below 30,000, 40,000. As at date, at December, we sold a cane for 60,000. So it seems like it's an upward appreciation into the future. However, if any circumstances happen and then we are unable to deliver according to expectation, we will let you know. So for example, if drought happens, just like Dr. Solomon said, that's the point of transparency. If drought happens, it is our obligation to let everybody know across the farm sector that you have outsourced to us to manage. You can decide not to outsource yours to us to manage. We'll let you know, oh, there is drought. It's beyond our control. This farm is not an irrigated farmland because of the acreage that we're doing. So because there's drought, it may affect production for this year and all the rest. So across every area of any circumstances, there are already answered ways to exit. So you can decide to sell your land. And if we are the one that have failed you, that we did not fulfill our promise at all, then you can demand for your money, for your land back 100%. But don't get it right that what you are paying for is for land. What Assetrise sold to you is land. You own the land. And then we are putting an added advantage by planting plantation on it. So if anything happens that is not your fault in any way, and it is not something that is within our control by nature, then we can come to the table and talk about it. However, if it is we that failed you in our promises of giving you the right land, or there's any encumbrance on the land, then we are refunding you back your money. Please, can you please expatiate on the various types of estate you have in Assetrise? Because of time, kindly call into the office or speak to any of our consultants. I'm sure some of us came into the meeting via some of our consultants. We respect them so much. They're doing a lot. Speak to them. They will explain to you all the estate that we currently have from phase 1 to phase 9 and also the farm instrument of it. But let me just throw a little bit of light. We have the Palm Ridge Estate, which is an estate development scheme. It has a fenced community. It has a full-grown estate development scheme. So then you pay for development fees, road network, and planned community where people can live, play, work like a farm settlement. It is called Palm Ridge Estate. Then we have the Palm Ridge Farm. It is not a fenced community. It is purely a farm. Both models are different. However, across both models, what we are selling to you is land ownership, not an investment scheme. And how are issues resolved between Assetrise and owners? The contract document doesn't seem to address that part. Yes, it does to some extent and to a large extent, but if you think that is not clear enough, please, like we said, we value clarity. We are not in business to take any customer to court or to wait for our customers to take us to court. We're in business for total satisfaction to our partners and to our customers. If you have anything that is not clear to you, please do not wait. Call or visit the office and we will sit down to iron out clarity before we can continue our relationship. So we resolve issues mutually. But if it is beyond what we can resolve because you are not agreeing to the terms or we are not agreeing to your terms, then we can gracefully and respectfully, part ways if that is needed. However, Our objective in business is customer satisfaction and not just cash flow. So we respect our customers' opinion in most cases. Can you explain the equity-based profit sharing? How soon following planting of oil palm can mixed cropping be done? Thank you. Equity, like we said, the project is 100% land ownership. Now, the word equity may be confusing, and we have on board Assetrise board very technical persons. Our board chairman is the MD of a bank, and then we have over 35 years experience in the stock markets. One of our board members. We have a senior advocate of Nigeria in our board. We have an ex-director of the Central Bank of Nigeria in our board. We have the ex-director general of the Security Exchange Commission as our board technical advisor. And why do we put this kind of structure in place? Because we want to avoid this becoming another failed scheme. So profit sharing in its explanation is that what you own is the land. The plantation on it is set up as an advantage to your land because we want to be able to be in the plantation business together with you. However, when we harvest your plantation, if you outsource to us, which you have the option of sourcing or to outsourcing to us, whatever we get from the land, you will be told because it's your land. So if, for example, we harvest 1 million bunches, we'll be told we harvest 1 million bunches or 1,000 bunches. And then after producing oil on your behalf, which you give us permission to do, if we get 10,000 or 1,000 keg, you'll be told. And if the time to sell those oil arrives and you ask us to sell on your behalf, we'll confirm the market price, you'll be told the market price. And if we sell according to the market price, every factor of production that we have done on your behalf will be subtracted from the revenue, and then the profit will be shared. There is no business in the world that shares revenue. Business only share profits. I repeat, there is no business in the world that shares revenue. Business only share profit. So then we now say, okay, we have made 2 million naira profit after we've generated 10 million naira in revenue, but the profit that we have made is 4 million or is 5 million. From this profit, you are the owner of the land, you are the owner of the plantation. We have signed an agreement with you that you will pay us 40% agency management fee, which is that's why you are signing up the farm management contract. So you're paying us 40% management fee that we are helping you to manage your land because the land belongs to you. We cannot reverse it. The land does not belong to you and Assetrise once you have paid and you have been allocated. But the plantation on it, if you outsource the management to us as your agent, managing your plantation as your farmer agent, the profit that comes from that farm, you will say to us 40% from it. I hope that's clear enough. When you register the land and did a survey, what land use classification or title was assigned? For example, is it strictly agricultural or mixed use? And in the future, if I decide to convert my portion to residential development, is that legally or structurally possible, even if others continue using theirs for palm plantation? Thank you, Mr. Sam Arishe. That's a very brilliant question. And to this question, it has also been answered in our FAQ because we anticipate it. Now, in most of the places that we have developed, they can fall largely, I would say 95% of the places where developed falls within residential. And I will explain why they are falling within residential. Now, we know the use of land is very technical. When we do plantation in outskirts, we expect that development will come into those places. Even when you do them in a place that is designated for agric or thereabout, when development is expanding, like in Lagos State, the place that is called Okoba is a land, is an agricultural settlement. But today you can see that everywhere is residential. There's no farmland in that place anymore. Okoba is Nagege. So we expect that by the growth of population, by 2030, Nigeria is projected to be a 260 million populated state. By 2050, we are projected to be a 400 million populated state. So imagine the kind of land mass that we are occupying at 200 to 50 now. It means we are going to be occupying times 2 of what we are occupying now. And where will those people live? They will enter your farmland to build houses. It means development will extend into those places that we are currently cultivating, and the use may change. So what we have also projected is instead of waiting for this time and then you start having to go to government to file the change of use for your land, why not buy the mixed use? And when that time comes, you don't need to start filing to change the title. You can easily change. But we have also bear in mind that people like you may want to say, oh, I want to build now. And we have said, no, you cannot disrupt the agri practice that is here. The minimum years that is tolerated for you to participate in this project, in this palm-rich estate or palm-rich farm, is that you are ready to leave this plantation for 30 years. You are not cutting down the trees. And within that 30-year space, we have also planned that development force or development will be coming closer, definitely. But within our 30 years, please let the farm stay. So, but for people who also want to live around farmlands, because we know in the future, I tell people jokingly, one of the places that will be more expensive or most expensive in Nigeria in the future will be palm-rich estate. And the simple clarity is that people want to live close to nature. Climate change will come in a higher degree. Human population will increase, degrading the ozone layer will increase, industrialization will increase, and therefore climate change will happen rapidly. And people want to live closer to nature. You imagine living around trees. And because of that, that's why we designed the palm-rich estate model, so that you can live, play, and walk around the plantation. So if you go to Adodo right now, there are areas designated for residential. So if you know your mind is to live close to palm plantation or live close to trees and live close to nature, buy a residential plot. So in the future, you can build in a residential while you still have some portion in the palm plantation. You can earn from your palm plantation, own your palm plantation land while you are living close to nature. So we have also built a structure around this. Don't forget, our emphasis on structure is so that we can avoid disruption. Our emphasis on structure is so that we can avoid disruption. And some of the questions that you're asking right now are questions that are capable of creating disruption if they are not carefully considered, both now and in the future. So we appreciate the question. For more details on that, please, you can reach out to the office or reach out to your consultant or read some of our materials. Does Assetrise have a structural system for the byproducts also? Yes. The byproducts from CPO to PKO to every byproduct that you want to talk about, like Dr. Solomon presented, there is a market. The Nigerian market has a huge gap. And that's why this has become a thing that almost everybody wants to do now. And why must they do it now? Either you like it or not, people will eat. Food inflation is always the highest whenever there's an inflation. And if you're a salary earner today, see, when there is inflation, you will suffer more because your salary is not going to increase at the pace of inflation. But when you own structured assets like this, when there is inflation, you are earning more. Even if you are still working, you are still earning more from your structured asset. And that's why we encourage that when you are working, own some farmland, especially cash crop land, that can give you passive income when there is inflation. So all the byproducts, especially palm oil, palm kernel oil, and PKC for animal feed, and every other value addition that this product carries, everything has been structured into production. So for example, if you outsource to us, we will produce round all these byproducts. And then we will sell all these byproducts according to your instruction because you own the farm, and then profits will be shared accordingly. So we have planned for all these byproducts and far into the future. What's the title on the Ewekoro plantation? Currently, Ewekoro has a registered and Ogun State government registered survey. We have shared with you. You can also confirm the title. You are not assigned or allocated till you pay. How do you resolve the legitimacy of the land where you won't have the allocation papers before you pay? Thank you. How do you own the land if you did not pay? Let me ask you that question, Mr. Remy, or Remy, sorry if you're Mr. or Mrs., I'm so sorry. But you don't own a car. If you go to the car lot now and say, I like this car, let me give you 50,000. You don't own the car until you pay up. You can't drive it out from the car lot until you pay up. And with real estate, it's very intricate. Ownership is payment first. But we have also considered that you may not have the bulk money to pay. So once you make your interest, your land is reserved. Now, before you even make payment at all, according to this your question, go and confirm the legitimacy of the land. Don't make payment, then go and confirm the legitimacy. That is a halfway to being scammed. Before you make payment, go to lands, take the paper, request Assetrise. What title do you have on this land? Send the survey to me. Go and confirm the title. And after confirming the title, make your payment. And the number two thing is that we will not enter into a contract with you to say you have made payment. and you want to pay within 12 months. Within this 12 months, your land is reserved. After the 12 months, if you did not pay, we can decide to refund back your money, and then we terminate the ownership. But as long as you have made payment and you have committed us, a contract is set in to accommodate the timeline that you want to pay for. And then if you do that, after payment, we then allocate you the ownership of your land. It's a clear structure. Like we said, to avoid disruption, structure is always must always be understood. So understand our structure before even transacting anything with us. Please understand our structure. It is a clear and simple way to do business, and we value our customers. We do not want to have any disruption with our customers. We value our relationship far into the future. Thank you. So I hope there will not be any dispute on a purchased land with the community people. We cannot tell you that, yes, there will be no dispute, but we can always assure you that we have done our groundwork before we get into any community. And secondly, we will avoid any dispute. In all the lands that we have been right now, you can confirm, do your due diligence around the families. We have avoided dispute because from the beginning, our legal structure and our legal team make sure that we title to the list of the family, and then we can avoid crisis in the future. However, like we said, if you purchase any land from us and it is taken over forcefully by government or by family and we could not resolve it, we owe you the right to refund your money 100% because it is not your fault. Please, can we get the recorded section? Yes, you will. Can we get the record of the meeting? What is your actual yield per hectare annually? I mean, we have spoken about this also. And can Assetrise help investors secure a potential CFO on land that purchase? We can definitely liaise with you, with our surveyors, to get this done. What happens after 30 years? The land still belongs to you. You can decide to convert to residential use, and if you want to convert to other use, you can. But there's a plan layout for the entire farm, for the entire scheme. At what time is the contract effective? From the beginning of signing the contract is effective. That's why it's a contract. And all the terms of the contract are in there. If you don't follow the terms, or we don't follow the terms, then we both are not breach the contract. So what happens to the palm tree if that is the interest of buying in the first place? What happens to the palm tree? The palm trees are planted on your land. There's nothing that happens to the palm tree. I guess what you're saying is that, oh, the interest of you buying the land is a palm tree. If the interest of you buying the land is a palm tree, then you have not understood the structure perfectly. Just like Doctor said, agriculture is beyond farming now. It's more of you owning an agricultural asset. You cannot do farm without land. And the land even have better potential than the farming. Imagine maybe our Adodo plantation. We started at 450,000 3 years ago. As a date, the land is over 2.5 million. Even when you are yet to start harvesting, your land has greatly appreciated. So the land appreciation is a major component of agriculture. However, the agri part of it, which is the palm tree that we are planting, we know that there are risks with every business. We have only declared a risk to you. It does not mean that the potential of the palm tree is not as solid as presented. Like Doctor said, you can never regret setting up a palm plantation if well done and managed with all the best agronomic practices. However, we both must understand what risk is about. Assetrise understand what risk is about, defend the organization. Investors also must understand what risk is about, securing your money so that you don't put them in schemes that you perfectly do not understand the structure about it. When will I get my plantation allocation to me? If you subscribe, the dates have been rolled out for this year, allocations are coming in, and then we can keep moving. The arbitration clause has been removed from the contract. Okay, I may not fully understand it, but please, Remy, you can reach out to us to create more clarity about this. Let me announce again, if you have any part of your contract that you do not understand, any part of this structure that you do not understand, please reach out to us. It is better that we are mutually in relationship than wait for future and create crisis. We do not want to go to court with any customer. That is not the reason why we're in business. We're in business for absolute customer satisfaction. So please, if you have anything that you do not understand at all, somebody have pitched it to you, someone sold it to you, and you do not understand, kindly reach out to us to create clarity. Because our clients are asking why should we be waiting for rainfall to plant? Why can't we practice irrigation since this large-scale farming like that practiced globally? Thank you. You ask yourself, Mr. Shola or Mrs. Shola, if we do irrigation on that farm, you cannot afford it at the price that it will. I'm sorry, not that you can afford it. The price will go exponentially higher if we practice irrigation system. Water to piping to daily watering. Imagine your own house, how many tanks of water you drink and how much you spend to pump water. Then imagine a 3,000 hectares of plant plantation. Water will be so much. That is why it is advised that the plantation is set up in the mangrove or in the areas that have good rainfall, so that you don't need to spend much on irrigation. Because if you're going to put irrigation to this, I can bet you the cost will be very, very high. And that's why we avoid irrigation now and practice areas where we don't need irrigation. However, if you are not comfortable with that clause of we not doing irrigation, please do not even invest in it. Understand the structure. We are not practicing irrigation in any of our farm for the large scale. The only area where we do irrigation is on the nursery because we can control that. But on the large scale farm, there is no irrigation. What strategic advantage do I have over someone who decides to invest the same fund in treasury bill or bonds, considering zero returns until 5 years? Thank you. That's a very great question, and I love that question. See, treasury bill will fluctuate. They'll go down, they'll go down, they'll go down. Palm price or inflation around food always go up. That is one advantage. Number two, you own an asset, not just a fund. With treasury bill, you own only your money in the market. But with palm, you own an asset that will keep appreciating. Number two, the asset will generate cash flow for you. So you own a dual return instrument. You own the land as an asset that will keep appreciating. And then you own cash returns from your plantation that your land that will come to you. So those are the advantage that plantation have over treasury bills or bonds. However, do only what is comfortable with you. If bond is more better comfortable with you, kindly do a bond. But if you see that agricultural asset, just like as presented, has more potential, and just like we have said, the potential is very huge. You can't compare it with TB and bonds in terms of the dual return instrument and even in terms of land advantage. See, if you own a land, imagine you own a land in Adodo today, and in 10 years' time, if in 3 years' time there's already over 200%, over 300% appreciation, imagine what the appreciation will be in 10 years' time. Just do the math. And then imagine you are selling that. Some persons bought, Ikeja GRA for 50 naira. But today, a plot of land per square meter in Ikeja GRA is 1.8 million leased. So land is a great it's a great asset that you should own. And you can also transfer that to generations to come. So the part of this project that focuses on real estate is very interesting to us. And this is a strategic advantage that you can know. Because of time, we will not be able to take all the questions that are here, but I will do you a favor. Or let's do ourselves a favor. We will answer all the questions on a spread, and then we will send the spread to everyone who is on this meeting. We will send the spread. I have gone through all the questions. It seems we understood all that Dr. Solomon presented. So I've not seen any question that particularly spoke to him. Mr. Rotimi, why phase 7 is not open for inspection? I have been asking for inspection more than a month now. Phase 7 is, all our phases are open for inspection. However, the timeline of the calendar may be the issue. Once you own any space in any of our farm, in any of the estate, you are free to go there anytime. That is when you will discover if what we are telling you is true or not. So, but if you are coming to inspect for a client, we have a scheduled timeline for all inspection, because petrol price has gone up. We are a company, we run costs, so we have to consider costs so that we remain profitable and so that you can have us. But if this is going to create a disruption to you, please organize inspection by yourself. As a business person, if you're a consultant in the house, organize inspection for that client and take the client to site. Let them see, because you have more advantage to that. Is it possible to know the location of Assetrise primary? Okay, thank you so much. Like I said, the questions are coming in too much. We will answer them in a spreadsheet, and then we will reach out to you. I want to also appreciate our consultants who have joined into this meeting. You are the reason for this soup that we are cooking. And please, you are the Maggi and the salt in it. We know that you are doing a great work. Kindly continue helping us, creating clarity across everyone that is listening. Do not create ambiguity. Please People should only subscribe to what they understand, and that will be a very mutual relationship in the future. And to our investors, we appreciate you so much because you understand what this land ownership and plantation is about, and you can do this with all your hearts at peace that you understand what you're doing. And we've had a great guest tonight. I mean, bringing a director of the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research on our webinar tonight is a lot to us. It means a lot to us that we have research and institutional support to what we are doing. And not just by mouth, we have a signed MOU to this relationship with NIFOR. And tonight we appreciate again and again Dr. Segun for, your presentation was clear, simplified, and very detailed for everyone to understand about the plantation business. Before we wrap up tonight, if you want to come up on the SPV model as your route to expansion, we have created this route. We understand that every investor have their appetite, their risk appetite and their return appetite also. You want to expand what you own. You want to own 100 acres, 100 hectares, 50 hectares. We have a route that has been designed for you. Just like Dr. Solomon emphasized, the advantage are enormous beyond you just owning the 1 acre thing. If you own a full-fledged farm titled to you, we are going to create a business name for you, register that business. If you're coming up on the SPV package, depending on the package, either you're creating it with your friends and your family, or you are creating it personally, or you are creating it with your colleagues in the office, or you're creating it for your club, you're creating it for your cooperative. You can own a farm, an agricultural asset registered as a farm business or as an agricultural asset that runs a farm business. And then you have your transparency around you to your ownership. And the advantage of this model is that you have access to government funding whenever there is any government funding around agric. You can apply both local and international. You have access to a lot of incentives that run for agric. And then you can apply for a lot of funding, even from your bank, because you own an agric business. You own a farmland with huge potential of plantation. And that's why we are saying that if you want to scale what you own, speak to our SPV desk. We have dedicated lawyers on the SPV desk that will guide you through. Like we said, we value clarity, and that's why we want to make sure that you understand. The SPV desk is managed by lawyers. They will explain to you from beginning to the end, and then you can increase your ownership. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. The time is well spent, and the time is fast spent. We're going to bring more of this to us. But before I wrap up, don't forget, Phase 9 is still selling. Phase 9 has a certificate of occupancy. We're currently running a 20% discount. I think is expiring this Easter holiday. By tomorrow, it should be expiring. It was 7 million per plot, per acre, but now discounted by 20%. So you can jump on that and get what you can increase on. Also, Phase 3 is currently on board. Phase 3 is a farm. It does not have a C of O. It's a freehold. We're going to process the registered copy, and then we're going to process other documents that we need to process. However, understand the difference between these two. The C of O land will be definitely more expensive than a land without C of O. But at the end, all the lands that we present to you, we can boldly tell you they are free. Let me emphasize the free again. They are free from government acquisitions. And your plantation can thrive, your land can appreciate it in the future, and you can, have your plantation do well when you expect them. And so you can jump on these two offers, the Phase 9 and the Phase 3 that is currently on board. For more details, reach out to us, reach out to your consultant. If you came into this call via a consultant, please, we value our relationship with all our partners. Do not jump your consultant to reach out to us. If you came with one, reach out to them. They do a lot to bringing you on board. And that's why we organize this meeting, to make sure that they are not just bringing you on board. We are with them. We are partners. And if we are partners, please reach out to them, and they will take you by the hand through all the processes in Assetrise. However, if you have any concern, I repeat again, with any of our documentation, either the contract, the FAQ, the fee and C, the form. If you have any concern, please reach out to the office. Our legal team are well informed and very ready to make sure that our relationship is mutual. We are not interested in going to court with any customer. Our priority is your satisfaction, and satisfaction can only be driven with clarity. We thank you too much tonight again for joining this meeting. And from my end, I will be saying it is a time well spent and a very good night. But before I say this again, thank you, Dr. Solomon, for joining again and again. I don't know if you have a closing remark for us, Dr. Solomon, before we draw the curtain. Dr. Solomon, if you're still on board, thank you. If you have any closing remark for us, let's take that before we draw the curtain. Hello, Chidera.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. This has been a very interesting and informative conversation. Dr. Solomon has just logged off. I guess it's his network again. But trust me, this has varied from Dr. Solomon's presentation to all of the questions and also the presentation of the group managing director. I myself have gotten more and more information, and I'm very much geared up, just as you are, to make informed decision. All right. So thank you very much to everyone who joined in. For all of the questions that were not answered, I reiterate, so all of these questions will be compiled, would be sent as a document with all of the answers to these questions to every single person on online tonight. Also, this session will be recorded and will be shared as well, so we can have a copy to ourselves and listen or send to friends, families, colleagues, or organizations that we want to also go through and understand the process and the program. All right. Thank you very much to everyone who joined in. It's been a very informative one, and I'm sure with clarity, with better understanding, we'll be making more informed decision. And on this note, I don't want to take any much more of our time. All right. So on this note, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined in. Dr. Solomon, the media team as well for helping us with videos. I think you just help us with the sign out video media. And on this note, I remain Chidera Ikechukwu, and this is my sign out. Thank you very much for joining, everyone, and have a good night.